twisted and smashed and scattered in different ways.
Discarded as if it was the aftermath of a party.
You feel all of a sudden guilty, like, why are they there? Should I clean them up?
All but impossible to persuade yourself that they aren't really plastic.
Solo together, we all have to figure this out.
My name is Paula Crown, and I'm an artist. I do feel it's important to talk about the risk that single-use plastics pose to our environment.
These things are right here in front of us. We need to take a different approach. We need to act now and responsibly, and we need to act collectively.
The subtitle of the exhibit is Solo Together, which talks about the idea that often they were left for someone else to clean up, and how we have to individually work together to solve this bigger problem.
The exhibition is a story. You come into a space, you see these solo cups spread across the floor, so there must have been a reception. But then you start questioning, who are the people that came? Why didn't they clean up the cups? And then the cups are actually part of the piece.
We don't look at solo cups. We hold them, we use them, we discard them. But in the moment of Solo Together, they become objects worth considering.
Venice is an extraordinary place, and it has huge environmental challenges.
Millions of people come year after year to experience the space, the architecture, the art.
We have this extraordinary history. We have this extraordinary legacy. We don't want to lose it.
It's so improbable that a city could be made where the means of getting around is on the water. And it also brings up the urgency of climate change, because you can literally see it impacting the city with the water level getting higher and higher and higher.
Venice is this mass accumulation of its own history and of all the products that human beings have filled it with. In this instance, I feel there's an even stronger sort of gut punch in terms of what it is that's being conveyed about consumer culture. So it seems like the right show in the right place at the right time.
We have to find ways to connect across geographies, genders, religions, different points of view. And art can create those spaces for people to have civil discussions, shared experiences, and shared emotions.
This space here in Venice feels like a chapel. It really highlights the nature of this exhibition space.
At first, I was convinced it was a permanent fixture of the room. It seemed so natural that it should be there. They seem very well suited to Venice, and they really do put you in mind of the kinds of stained glass you might see in any of the cathedrals around here.
There's two things to the chalice. One, because of the scale, it looks like a column, kind of a deformed column, morphed.
It's contorted in a manner that forces us to walk around it. There's this moment of propulsion. So you're very aware of your physical relationship to the art object in that moment.
Does it deal with architecture and space? Does it deal with the visual impact? It's also a gold color. So it has this kind of a spiritual or religious connotation.
I've been inspired by Caravaggio's folds that you see in many of his characters that are just so extraordinary and rich. The Bernini's column, the architectural elements, they also can be folds. Chain mesh was another narrative of if you keep your senses attuned, things can come about. We laid it out on these geographies, and then I would twist and draw and then harden in position. So we created these sculptures. Moving it had this beautiful sensual quality, and also the sound was so captivating.
Chain mesh becomes water. It is transformed. It is constantly mutating. Each pace of the mesh coming together to create a holistic piece. And you suddenly see these moments where it's these individual loops of metal, and then they mutate to become a whole. Something present also and solo together, the individual cups coming together to produce a whole installation.
As I was looking at these cups, they took on some characteristics that one could project to be human.
I'm so taken by the titles that you've created for each solo cup and solo together.
I like to think about the index, the mark that we make in the world. And so it started with looking at one or two cups. I think one was tipping over, and I thought, well, we'll call that I Lean. My daughter came to the studio and she said, oh my gosh, you have to continue this whole story. For example, these two, they have to be secretly pregnant. And here we have the designated driver, and here this guy's undocumented. So then all of these sub-stories started developing.
I surveyed a lot of friends and people about their experiences and came up with, now we have 300 amazing names.
Each cup is a story. The titles for each piece, each story is taking consideration when it's placed in the space. It is all laid out in a manner that demands you walk around the piece, that you consider each individual element. Often, to make something appear truly random and effortless, it calls for infinitely more effort, and that's something that's felt within the installation.
Failure is data, and in so many ways it gives you clean information as to what doesn't work. For me, that is something in our studio that we embrace.
The foundation of why we are makers, why we create things, is to make a better place, make a better world for people.
And so fortunate that she agreed to design my studio in Chicago. Working together with her in creating a sustainable space was really like creating a work of art.
Paula has a special kind of awareness and sensitivity about environment. Together, we really found ways to create a space through all the materials used, through the way that air is extracted.
The idea that it would be a clean space, that it would have gold LEED rating for a place that works with toxic materials was really a point of pride.
We really were interested in how the intellectual side of creation, that research piece, is at the center of a process. So in her studio, we put the library right in the middle of the studio, and everything radiates out from there.
It's important to know where we come from, where ideas come from. Manifesting idea is so much about looking closely and seeing patterns, things that are in nature, that are in the micro and the macro. Then how does one bring those forth so I can relate them in different ways?
In order to get people to understand how we're going to improve the environment, why everyone is needed to be part of this, it's important to create a stronger connection between people.
I have been an active environmentalist over the years, and I've always tried to think about how we get the message across. I don't have a choice. I have to be active on these issues, and I have found that my art is the best way to express that point of view.
Once you've seen Paula's work, all these things take over. How she works with the environment via art.
She's dealing with these very complicated, very important, pressing social issues, and making sure that her message is understood and articulated in a manner that people have access to.
What I like about the solo cup, and I'm doing a 10-foot one that is red that will be placed in the landscape in Aspen and then may go to Miami Beach and to a desert setting, is that it's fun, it's intriguing, it's joyful. There are a lot of shared great memories about our collegiate experiences, but also it's a warning. It's red. It's saying stop.
You stop thinking of it as just a disposable cup. You start thinking about it as ideas,
It's something with a larger social message that engages with a larger landscape.
The oceans don't have a boundary for where plastics are going to go and not go.
It really is to bridge that process of seeing, experiencing, and then connecting.
Stronger relationships is a key to getting everybody on the same page with the impact that they have on the planet and making change.
We all have responsibilities. I think what's different is I think there's particular opportunity for creatives to fill this vacuum of leadership that we have. We need to pay attention. We need Mother Nature. Mother Nature does not need us.
Thank you all for being here. To the creative ethos, to hard work, to imagination, and the improbable.
Thank you. Congratulations. Do you want me to take that or are you going to take it with you? Adam and Charlotte. Adam and Charlotte. Adam, Charlotte. They're coming.